Springfield, 1876. In the dead of night, two men pried open Abraham Lincoln's tomb, intent on stealing the president's corpse for ransom. Their plot would ignite decades of paranoia, secret oaths, and midnight rituals, all to keep what lay inside Lincoln's coffin hidden from the world for 62 years. But what could possibly have been so shocking that presidents, lawmen, and even Lincoln's own son went to such extraordinary lengths to protect it? The answer begins with a heist, unlike any in American history. Election night, November 7th, 1876. While the nation's attention was fixed on the bitter contest between Rutherford Hayes and Samuel Tilden, three men slipped quietly into Oak Ridge Cemetery under the cover of darkness. Jack Hughes and Terrence Mullen, both small-time criminals from Chicago, carried with them a saw, a file, and a set of heavy iron bars. Their plan was as bold as it was desperate: steal Lincoln's body and demand $200,000 in ransom, along with the release of their imprisoned associate, master engraver Benjamin Boyd. The tomb stood silent and cold, its iron lock no match for their tools. With each scrape of metal, the sound echoed against the marble walls, mixing with the distant crackle of fireworks from town. Inside, the thieves pried at the marble sarcophagus, sweat mixing with fear as they struggled to lift the 500-pound cedar and lead coffin. They had mapped the tomb earlier, posing as tourists to study its layout. Now their hands trembled as they dragged the coffin partway out, every movement haunted by the thought of discovery. What Hughes and Mullen didn't know was that they were not alone. Chicago Secret Service agent Patrick Tyrrell had been tracking their every move for weeks. An informant inside the gang, Louis Sweegles, had alerted Tyrrell, who arrived with a team of agents and the tomb's custodian, John Carroll Power. The agents waited in the darkness, boots removed to silence their steps, revolvers drawn. Suddenly, a pistol shot rang out. One agent's weapon discharged by accident, the sharp crack shattering the tension. The thieves froze, then bolted for the cemetery gates. Tyrrell's men gave chase, their lanterns flickering wildly among the gravestones. Hughes and Mullen disappeared into the night, leaving behind the president's coffin only half removed from its resting place. News of the attempted theft exploded across the country the next morning. The Springfield Daily News screamed the headline: "Daring attempt to steal Lincoln's body." In the days that followed, Hughes and Mullen were tracked down and arrested in Chicago. The Secret Service's report detailed the tools found at the scene and the failed ransom demand. The nation reeled at how close Lincoln's remains had come to vanishing forever. The break-in exposed a terrifying vulnerability. If the president's tomb could be breached, nothing was sacred. That fear would soon drive a handful of men to take extraordinary measures, sworn to secrecy, and determined to keep Lincoln safe, no matter the cost. Within days of the attempted theft, a quiet gathering took place in Springfield. The men who met were not lawmen or politicians, but local citizens, shopkeepers, tradesmen, neighbors. At the center stood John Carroll Power, the tomb's custodian, who had watched strangers try to steal Lincoln from his resting place. These men understood that locks and stone were not enough. They needed a new kind of defense, one built on silence and trust. They formed a secret group, later known as the Lincoln Guard of Honor. There was no fanfare. Each man gave his word that he would never reveal what they did, not even to his own family. According to meeting notes from 1882, their pledge was simple. They would rather die than betray the trust placed in them. No signatures, no photographs, just a spoken promise, sealed in darkness. Their duty was both practical and haunting. By lantern light, the guard moved Lincoln's heavy coffin from its marble sarcophagus to hidden corners of the tomb. Sometimes it was wedged behind stacks of lumber. Other times, planks and bricks disguised the spot from any curious visitor. The tomb's basement, damp and shadowed, became a labyrinth where only the guard knew the path. The men worked in silence, their footsteps muffled on stone, the air thick with the smell of earth and old wood. For more than 25 years, the coffin was shifted again and again. Each move took place at night, with only the flicker of lanterns to guide them. As the years passed, members of the guard grew older. Some died, taking the secret with them. New recruits were rare, chosen only when another was lost. By the turn of the century, so few remained that even the cemetery's own records could not say exactly where Lincoln lay. The guard became nearly invisible, a collective of anonymous custodians, bound only by their oath. Their secrecy was so complete that rumors began to swirl outside the tomb. Some whispered that Lincoln's body had been stolen after all, or replaced with sandbags. Tourists filed past the monument, never knowing that just beneath their feet, a handful of men guarded the nation's most sacred remains, not with weapons, but with silence and devotion. By the turn of the 20th century, the air around Lincoln's tomb was thick with doubt. Tourists streamed through Oak Ridge Cemetery, snapping photographs and whispering stories. Some claimed that Lincoln's body was no longer there at all. The most persistent rumor insisted that the coffin, hidden so many times by the Guard of Honor, now held nothing but sandbags. Even the monument itself began to fail. Cracks split the marble. Water seeped through the stone. Engineers warned that the structure could not last. Repairs could wait no longer. Robert Todd Lincoln, the president's only surviving son, watched these rumors and reports with growing unease. He had spent decades shielding his father's legacy from spectacle and scandal. Now, with the tomb in disrepair and the public questioning whether Lincoln's body had been spirited away, Robert faced a decision he could not ignore. Letters from Springfield described the decaying walls and the confusion over where the coffin actually lay. Only a handful of men still alive knew the true location, and even they disagreed over the details. On September 26, 1901, Robert ordered the unthinkable. The coffin would be found and opened once and for all to silence the rumors and restore the nation's trust. Invitations went out to a select group: local officials, trusted laborers, and the last members of the Guard of Honor. 23 men were summoned, each sworn to secrecy, each about to witness something that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. The truth, hidden for decades, was about to be revealed in the cold stone heart of the tomb. Lanterns cast trembling shadows on the stone walls as the witnesses crowded into the narrow chamber. The air was heavy, thick with the damp, choking scent of old earth and metal. 23 men stood shoulder to shoulder, their breath clouding in the gloom, each summoned to witness what had been hidden for decades. Among them, Fleetwood Lindley, just 17, tried to steady his hands. Near him, plumbers Leon Hopkins and Charles Willey prepared their tools, glancing at the others for silent permission. The lid of Lincoln's coffin was made of solid lead, nearly impossible to move without effort. Hopkins and Willey worked the edges, prying carefully until the seal broke with a dull metallic groan. A wave of musty air rolled out, so strong that several men recoiled. The lantern light flickered over Lincoln's face, still unmistakable after 36 years. His beard framed a high, familiar forehead. The features matched every photograph from the war years. Pale, chalky mold clung to his skin, dusting his cheeks like frost on a window pane. The faded red of a flag lay across his chest, the cloth barely holding its color. One man staggered back, overcome by the sight. Most stood frozen, eyes wide, silence thick as stone. Fleetwood Lindley stared, trying to fix every detail in his memory. The moment lasted only seconds before the lid was replaced and sealed. Each witness signed a sworn statement, hands trembling as they wrote. The coffin was lowered into a steel cage, then buried beneath 10 feet of poured concrete. As the last spade of earth settled, the chamber fell silent again. Years later, when asked if he remembered what he saw that day, Lindley answered, "Yes, I still remember." Even now, Lincoln lies encased beneath tons of concrete, untouchable, but never truly out of reach for rumor or myth. In an age obsessed with secrets and celebrity, even the dead aren't immune to scrutiny. Some legacies, it seems, demand protection long after memory fades. What would you have done